Brad, you mentioned in your written response that you do not believe contracts should be evaluated in the blind. Can you explain that statement?
Yeah, I'm a firm believer in open market competition, free market competition. And the only way, in my mind, to make sure that we're getting the bang for our buck is with open competition and constant reinforcement of that fact, and recognizing with open bidding processes whereby we might get a better deal somewhere else. So when I'm saying that we shouldn't be operating in the blind, what I'm saying is when we have a contract that's up for bid, we have to accept all those contracts, not just be reliant upon the fact that that particular service has been engaged with the city for a number of years. We have to get the best bang for our buck, get the services that we need. That's the only way to keep the budget under control. And quite frankly, from my perspective, that's exactly what's been happening for the last number of years. If it weren't happening for the last number of years, we wouldn't have a balanced budget with $1.2 million excess this year with $19 million in the bank. I keep bringing that up. But there are 26 other cities or more now in the county of Orange whose city councils would love to be sitting up here right now with that problem. And so I think open competition, recognizing that the city should not be beholden to any particular company that has done business with the city in the past, and to allow the free market to work its course.
Thank you, Brad. Brad, in your written response, you state the city has done a very good job keeping abreast of the infrastructure needs. If you had to identify a weak area of the city's infrastructure, what might that be?
Well, first, I'll preface my statement by saying I think our city staff's going to be kind of surprised that they're part of the infrastructure. But that being said, I've lived here since 1986, and I was here for the initial infrastructure, if you will. There was me and a house and a lake, and that's the beginning of the infrastructure. And since then, obviously, we have streets and we have sewage lines and we have power out here now. I mean, I was living out here in the 1800s, it seems. Our infrastructure, people have to keep in mind, our city is only 12 years old, but our community is, as has been pointed out by Councilwoman Gamble, 26 years old. And with time, it's aging, and we have to do something to keep up and make sure that we don't spend $1 or save $1 now and pay a lot more later on. In my mind, the infrastructure, frankly, I think has been doing great. I think we had problems up in Dove Canyon regarding the storm drains that needed to be repaired. They're currently under repair right now. If you had asked me this question, Don, 6 months ago, that'd be my answer, is the storm drains in Dove Canyon and the problems that the folks up there were having. Right now, as far as the biggest issue for infrastructure, I would think it would be the bridges. I'm not exactly sure, by the way, what we can do to prevent those who want to commit suicide from committing suicide. I understand the need to reach out to these people, and anyone who knows me knows that comes from the heart. But I would agree that if there are individuals who are stepping over part of the bridge and inadvertently falling to their deaths, that might be something that we can look at. Also, with the earthquake retrofitting of the bridges that have been going on for the years, that's also something to keep in mind as well.
Thank you very much, Brad. Brad, with reference to your response, specifically what do you see CAR's role to be in the development of Chiquita Ridge as it relates to planning and development?
About a year ago now, I was involved in the city council appointment process. And during that process, those who were involved, and Kenny was involved, and Glenn was involved. We are all involved in that process at some point in time. And we were asked various questions on what we foresaw for the city. And one of those questions was, what did I think should happen at Chiquita Ridge, and who did I think should be involved? And I said from the very get-go, long before I was sitting up here, that we are so lucky to be living in a city where we have a strong unit, basically an intermediary between the 6 master homeowners associations and the sub-associations who can act as a conduit, not necessarily just from the city to CAR to the community, but more importantly, from the community to CAR to the city. The community needs to be intimately involved with what's going to happen at Chiquita Ridge, not just with the sports park, but with the development that's going to hopefully finance and support that park. If Chiquita Ridge were in Anaheim, a city who does not have a strong homeowners association entity, the city council is not going to have a direct conduit with its citizenry as to what's best for their Chiquita Ridge, and vice versa. We're very, very fortunate to have an organization like CAR, who represents 20,000 homeowners, who can directly access those homeowners, get the involvement of the homeowners, get them interested in what's going to happen. And I say this all the time, an investment in this city gives a resident a vested interest in the city. And if the people, through CAR, can communicate to the city council, everyone's going to be happy. We're all going to have a voice in Chiquita Ridge, and it's going to be the very, very best regional sports park we could possibly imagine.
Thank you very much, Brad. As the population of RSM ages, what changes do you see necessary to accommodate an older population? Want me to repeat it?
No, I'm fine with it. I have been living by a motto for quite some time, and many people in this room have heard me say this, and I'll say it again. Service to others is the rent we pay for a room here on earth. I am absolutely committed to supporting the Bell Tower Foundation. They have a Meals on Wheels program for the elderly in this community. By the way, the elderly in this community, and not just because some people out there are getting older, of course those in this room are not getting any older, but our average age has grown exponentially, not just because we're here, but because we have now facilities for those who need them. We have skilled nursing facilities here in town. Those people need our help. Just yesterday, I read in Patch the fact that the city has provided a grant to the Bell Tower Foundation to create a volunteer system whereby people in this room, frankly, and all of us, can go help the elderly with minor repairs to their homes. The costs will be provided by the grant. We can help them out. Service to others is the rent we pay for a room here on earth. The best way to help our senior citizens is to do it ourselves and take responsibility for it.
Thank you, Brad.
Well, first of all, thank you to everybody who took time out on a Tuesday evening to be here. I've already mentioned, I've lived here forever. I turned the lights on in this community when I got here. And you don't vote for somebody because they've lived here since 1986. I know that. My folks here that I'm running against, and I refuse to call them my opponents because they're great guys. Mr. Acosta and Mr. McCook are wonderful people. They're here for the right reasons. We all would agree that we're fiscal conservatives, so I don't think there's any threat to our budget. We would all agree that public safety is issue number one, so I don't think there's any threat there. We would have difference of opinions on business development. I've been a planning commissioner here for 2 years. I was a member of the Economic Development Committee. I was a member of the Business Attraction Unit. I majored in college and have my degree in urban planning. I'm a practicing attorney. I think I'm very well qualified to sit as a city council member. I certainly have the endorsements of every mayor who's ever run this town. Former Mayor Thompson's in the back of the room, Mayor Thor, Mayor Blaze, Mayor Gamble, Mayor Beal. I'm very proud to have those endorsements. I'm very proud that Jerry Holloway asked me to run for this seat. But I don't, as much as I'm proud of those endorsements, I need your endorsement. That's what I need. I mentioned this before. Service to others is the rent we pay for our room here on earth. That's what makes a city a community and a community a home. I am dedicated to not just the fiscal conservatism that we mentioned and the public safety and the business development. I am committed, absolutely committed, to getting our community involved through the Bell Tower Foundation and through other sources to give to one another, to pay it forward, to make our city a community, and to make our community a home. I would greatly appreciate your support on November 6th. Thank you.